Hey there, welcome to the Mastering Social Media for Schools podcast. You guys, this is the podcast that does talk about social media for schools and other things related to your role as a school communicator. And today is a special episode. I have Dr. Amanda Matere, and we're going to be focusing on two things really. We're going to be talking about AI and how you can use AI to work smarter, not harder, to really incorporate not just improving a simple caption, but going beyond and helping you save time because we know that you do not have enough time. But we're also going to talk about some of the personal side of being a school communicator, of sharing what you know, of being authentic out there on social media. So it might feel a little bit like a life coach session plus AI. I think that's wonderful, right? Who said AI can't be the personal side as well? So I am so excited for you to dig into today's episode. And I just want to remind you, I wrote a book. It's called Social Media for Schools: Proven Storytelling Strategies and Ideas to Celebrate Your Students and Staff While Keeping Your Sanity. And this summer, you can join in a free book club that starts Tuesday, June 10th. Okay. It's Tuesdays throughout the month. It's a series, or through the summer. It's a 5 Tuesdays. We break down this book section by section, and you can join for free. Now, whether you are new to school PR, whether you've been in it for 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, it's always a good time to kind of review: what are your systems? What does your branding look like? What does your storytelling look like? And some of the best practices. And it's just a chance to get together virtually live each week to break down this book. And you get the recording. So don't think that to sign up, you need to be there for every session, because you don't. Okay. So in the show notes, you can get signed up for that free book club. You can order the book on Amazon or check it out on my website. I've got the link there as well. But I hope you'll consider joining us. Okay. Now let's dig into this week's K-12 PR tip. All right, today's K-12 PR tip is to get signed up for the school partnership program on Instagram. Now, your page may have, your Instagram account may have a pop-up that asks you to join, but if you haven't received that yet, you can actually manually force this and ask to be added. The school partnership program was actually created to get prioritized reporting and some digital resources for safety for your school district or your schools. So this is available right now in the US, and you can sign up for a wait list, but actually you end up joining real quick, less than 24 hours in some cases. So I'll include this in the show notes, but if you go to about.instagram.com/community/educators, okay? About.instagram.com/community/educators. Be signed in as your school district's Instagram page on another window, and you will be able to sign up for the wait list. I'm showing my screen right now. If you're watching us on YouTube, it already said that we're on that wait list. And actually, we're not only on the wait list, we are a school partner. So once you get approved, you actually have a section on there that says school partner. Mine isn't showing it here, but it does show it on my version on the app. So I want you to get signed up for that. Just yesterday or the day before, I was talking with somebody that was having some bullying issues, maybe an account that they didn't know who it belonged to. Well, this program helps prioritize your complaints about those types of things so that you can get quicker action to keep your students safe. So I love that Instagram, that Meta put this together, and you're going to want to get your school signed up for it. Okay, now let's get to this week's amazing interview with Amanda Matere. Hello, Dr. Amanda Matere. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm so excited to have you here on the podcast. I know you recently spoke at a event that I was at. I didn't get to listen, but it was all on AI, and I know you're a master of many things. So very excited to bring you in and talk, on some specifics here. So why don't you share a little bit of your background and, kind of the work you're doing in schools?
Yeah, so my job is honestly to be a conduit, is to be a thought partner for different schools as a branding and marketing professional. We don't treat schools like businesses, and they are. Our customers look different. There are students, there are staff, there your families and your parents. And so my job is to help them think through the processes of how to engage these stakeholders, supporting small, medium, large districts. We all have the same struggle, with enrollment and different things. So understanding curriculum and instruction from being in the classroom formally has truly helped me to be a catalyst for change, for them. And so I enjoy what I do.
Yeah. So you started out like many of my listeners in the classroom, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so can you just kind of talk a little bit about your progression just within your career? That would be helpful. And then we're gonna dig into some AI.
Of course. So for me, I ran away from education, if I'm being honest. I was like, I did not. I would love to lie and be like, oh, yes, I've always wanted to mold young minds. Absolutely not. And so I had I was a published author at 14, created my business at 19. So imagine me in college, yeah, college student with a full-fledged branding and marketing firm. And my friends thought I had lost my mind when I said, you know what? I kind of like where education's going. I really want to learn the ins and outs and I want to run my own school. And they were like, to start over is insane, but that's what I did. So I was in the classroom for 3 years, loved every minute of it. Absolutely amazing. Pursued my principal certification and then loved STEM, was a STEM lab coordinator. And then a job opened up, for me to do STEM and web. And so that's what I've been doing in my day to day. But I've enjoyed it and so much where I'm like, you know what? I think I may want to go back and think about that firm and building it back up again. And so that's what's been working well for me.
Yeah. So you were a published author at 14. Tell me about that.
Yes, so that was my way of just learning. I'm always been an old soul, and so my goal was just to write in the best way to keep myself in a positive headspace. And I had my classmates and my people in my high school were like, "Can you publish this?" And I was like, "Yeah." So that's what I did, and it was exciting. I did republish it as I got older because 14-year-old you know, a lot has changed. So I republished it. It's called Full Disclosure in 2020, and it has been going, really, really well. And that's the name of my podcast. So maybe you'll be a guest on that as well. But yeah, so it's pretty awesome.
I love that. So you wrote a book at 14, you republished it in 2020. Can we get
2020.
it at on Amazon or where?
Yes, Amazon. I did self-publish through Lulu, so it's available everywhere, and that's
Okay.
pretty amazing to be able to say, yes, I did it.
Okay. So first of all, we weren't going to talk about that, but that's a surprising thing when we get awesome people on this podcast. She published that through Lulu, and I know that other, students have done that, and it's amazing. It's gotten even easier now in
Hmm.
2025 than it
Hmm.
was for you back in 2014 or even 2020. But if
Yeah,
you want to get connect with Amanda on just that process, there, we gave him something in the first few minutes, Amanda,
I
that's like,
know.
boom, I
Mission
love it.
accomplished. Woo.
Yeah. So you have really dug into AI, and I really think that, in regards to my listeners,
Yeah.
who are school storytellers. They wear a lot of hats. They're communicating in a lot of ways. Obviously, this is the social media podcast, but my listeners are doing things on the web and they're doing things in newsletters and they're doing things in social media and all of that. So, can you tell me a little bit about your experience with trying to use AI to manage, some of that workflow?
So I believe that what we do is we spotlight everyone else. And what we find is we have no time for ourselves at the end of the day. So when I started with AI on the tech side, I wanted to learn how can I make this easier as a bridge and not a barrier to what we believe AI is. So I got my certification from IBM and I also have a cybersecurity analyst side too, because I wanted to make sure everyone's up in arms with is it safe? Is it okay? And we had iRobot and Terminator that scared us to, not wanting to trust robots. And now we have Siri and Alexa everywhere. But AI helped me to give myself more time back to focus on me. And it helped me to align my thoughts. And with prompt engineering, it made it easier for me to highlight the great things that we do. And so yeah, now I've just been like, I guess an AI expert, some would say, but I have just been an advocate. I like
Mhm.
that word better, to
Yeah.
want to expose people to getting your time back and creating workflows and truly using AI to its fullest potential. We only use, I want to say, 25% of AI,
I'd
and
say
that's
less than that.
yeah, because we want to prompt real quick, like, hey, can you fix this? And then, yeah, but we don't realize this is something to help you with workflows. If you have small teams out there and you're like, hey, it's just one me, like we're trying to figure this out and you don't know how, AI is a great way to get started to doing these different things. And yeah, so I'll let you ask the questions about the tools. I'm already getting excited.
You see my head, like my brain is spinning, and that's why I get so excited when I talk to people like you because I get smarter. And then I feel I do a pretty good job of asking the questions that our folks out there are doing. But I just want to share one thing with you just in the last week. Okay. I have known about like custom GPTs that you can create, right? I have a
Mhm.
paid account, so I do the $20 a month to get Chat GPT, and I've known I needed to do like a custom, but I didn't know how. And
Mhm.
holy cow, is it easy? I'm sure I still am not using it to the correct way, but
Right,
it
right,
is
right.
very easy if you are doing something repetitively in your job, like a newsletter, or like
Mhm.
for me, my podcast notes and podcast titles and email titles. And it's like, instead of retyping and just asking those simple things, just even creating those custom GPTs. So, can you just start there? Have you created many of those? And has that helped in a team framework too? Because I'm not the best at explaining that. So,
Yeah, so I think we don't realize that using AI is not just workflows for us, but our actual workflow, what we do, and having a lot of different personalities and a lot of different ideas in one space. Your job as a comms professional is to create a message that aligns across all stakeholders, input, ideas, interest, and AI can help you streamline that in a way that works cohesively. And so it's not brain energy on your side because you're prompt engineering. And when I say that, prompt engineering means that you're adding all the details that you need, everything that's there. And you're able to really speak to what the overall product, the deliverable is. As far as the LLM or the language model, every piece of AI, depending on what it is, GPT is the most famous,
mhm.
but they use a repository of information that's come from other people. So the more you add to it, the more it starts to learn you and your voice. And we'll get into the different tools that there have out there, to actually learn how you like to talk, how you like to phrase things, how to put things together. So that way it's pulling from a source because it's getting to know you the more you use it. And if you think about it, the more you use it, it's like, oh, it's using words that I like. And it knows, what am I doing an academic tone or if I'm doing more of a fun, quirky kind of tone. So yeah, I can go on and on.
Yeah. So, what are some of your favorite tools, and how much time do you think some of that is saving you?
One, I say I get a week back. And people are like, what? No, I get a week back because when you're marketing other people and then you market yourself, I usually have my day of Saturday mornings with my coffee. That's my time to start planning out my entire week of what I want to say. And so, depending on how I would say productive I've been, I get at least 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of content, which, if you're in the social media world, that's crazy because it's like there's so much that you need to change and fix. My favorite tool I started off using was Copy AI. And the reason why I like Copy AI is because it can create your custom workflows for you. So what I mean by that is, hey, if I know on Saturdays I go and I do my LinkedIn newsletters, as soon as I give them the idea, it'll give me a newsletter. It gives me the captions that I need. And as I always say, different marketing platforms, social media platforms have different personalities. Your Facebook crew is different from your Instagram crew, different from your Twitter crew, LinkedIn, so on and so forth. So to speak to those different audiences, it's already made out there for you. So all you're doing is just plug and play at that point. So
Right.
it definitely helps you. Another AI component that I love is Writer, and Writer is RYTR. And with Writer, it helps you to learn your brand voice. So from that workflow, it automatically says if you're writing a blog, the you that writes a blog, it may not be Dr. Matere that writes the blog. It may be, Amanda that's writing a blog, or it could be, me and my marketing hat, my branding hat. or comms hat. So it just, or educator. So it just helps you to organize all those brands and voices in one place.
Okay. And so when you talk about Saturdays, you're talking about maybe some of the work that you're doing for your on your personal side. But if my listeners are a comms person for their school district,
Oh
it might
yeah.
be Monday morning that
Yeah, absolutely.
they're creating something like in Copy AI. I got to share this in a newsletter. I need to share it on an email, the
Right, yeah.
website, and then these three social media platforms. And it helps like piece those together, knowing the differences between what's important on this platform versus that platform versus this one, right?
Yeah, so in a professional side, for my typical week, my Monday is the day that I'm looking at districts for whatever's new for the next week for the highlights for the events. So I'm making sure that all the events are laid out, all the posts are situated for them, because I'm not always there with them day in and day out. You know how that is.
Hmm.
And so I want to make sure that they have everything that they need ahead of time. And so that would be where I use my copy AI to say, hey, these are the events that's coming up. This is the what I need in order to make sure that they have, the support that they need. If someone sends me and say, hey, can you write a newsletter for our campus? Cool. Send me the details that we need. And then that way I learn the importance, I learn the objectives, and I also get a chance to talk to the principal enough to say, hey, I kind of know your voice and how you like to write things.
Hmm.
And then it helps support you. So
Yeah.
all around, yeah, AI is saving time and it is that extra person or two or three that can help make your job a whole lot easier.
Yeah. So I like learning hands-on and I like getting kind of walk through. Now I know you've done some speaking at some conferences. So I don't did you get to meet Rebecca Baltzma yet?
I did not.
Okay, so she's a friend of mine. She's doing some speaking and training all across the country. But you guys, if you know Rebecca, you need to know Amanda because Amanda does similar things as far as workshops or she'll come in person. I would definitely recommend you guys for the SPRA chapters to check out Amanda for help because I could really see breaking down even a couple of these tools in a workshop format. Again, on the podcast, I can't do all of that for you. You definitely should go check them out. But if you feel like you need a little more, um, we'll have all your contact information in the show notes
Yes.
so people can reach out. But can you just kind of explain a little bit about what a workshop would look like or a talk that you do with folks to be able to help, promote and teach some of this?
Of course. So I'm a teacher at heart. So I'm going to give you your objectives. We're going to go through just scaffolding techniques from, hey, we don't really know what AI is to, hey, I actually do use it and I'm kind of a pro, but I want to learn this new tool. I think it's very important to have a hands-on workshop because so often we have people that we sit and get, is what we call it, sit and get. And then by the time you leave, you're like, okay, I have no idea what I learned. And just trying to have an email to try to follow up is not enough. But then also with the coaching session, also with the session of learning also comes a coaching session because I want to follow up with you to make sure that you thoroughly understand how to use this as a resource, give you updates and tips to help you troubleshoot some of the tough areas. So that way you are able to focus on what matters most.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in regards to AI, I mean, there's certainly some people that are scared of it. I mean,
Oh
my
yeah,
mantra kind of is like AI is not going to take your job, but somebody who knows how to use AI is.
definitely
And
will.
and so you have to get your feet wet and get in there. Now, in regards to just, people using social media on a personal front, like in a
Mhm.
professional way, maybe on LinkedIn,
Yeah,
you speak a little bit about vulnerability,
yeah.
and I guess, AI and vulnerability maybe don't mesh because you're just like, oh, it's a robot or whatever. So, what do you mean by vulnerability and how can we as school communicators who are often forced to be perfect really kind of embrace that?
So I've said that the bridge to vulnerability is authenticity. There is no traffic in the lane that is you. There's no one that is you. And there, when we try to force ourselves to be perfect or copy and paste what other people do, it never hits well or never lands well because that's not your jam. That's not you. And I think the more we focus on the imperfections There's someone that's looking for that, oh, I messed up a word, or I was laughing and giggling a little too much. Maybe I was too happy or too peppy, but there's going to be someone that is a kind of like an olive branch or like a ladder down to get them to the point where you are. When it comes to AI, I love the fact that it helps me to communicate my vulnerability. Because even though we're communication professionals, communicating vulnerability is very hard to be able to do because so many people count on you for the answers and the right answer and the PC way of saying things. And it's like, what if I don't have that? What if it's not put together? So I've used AI to help me communicate those feelings in a way that is going to resonate with others. But most importantly, um, I think we don't give ourselves enough credit for the work that we do. And when we're trying to polish everything, it may not connect with others because it's like, I don't need someone that's polished. I want someone that's a little dirty, got a little blemish or two. So
Yeah, I so
yeah.
agree. I was just doing a coaching session with a friend of mine that's doing amazing work in school communication, and she's got an amazing story coming from a classified employee to going
Mhm.
on to getting her college degree
Oh,
to doing
wow.
school PR to now consulting with a lot of different schools. And I'm like, you need to focus and tell at the beginning of any kind of training session. You you tend to gloss over some of that journey, but it's important because
Right,
people will love learning from you when they know the real you. And so
right,
that's something that, I was laid off. I lost my job. I had to move in with my parents. It sucked, okay? And I didn't know anything about school social media when I started, but now I've learned a lot over the last 11 years. And when I get out of a training and I've taught them all these things after an hour or two or four, some of them will still come up to me and be like, my dad, or, my husband just lost their job.
yeah,
Or, there was a time when I had to move in with my parents and that was such a hard time. And it's like, that's what they remember. And then obviously they learn well from you too, but just not being afraid because people relate to people, right?
right, right, right.
Yeah. And then I just think too, because a lot of my listeners are thinking they have to be the expert. Like in AI, let's just say you want to learn about AI and you want to help others in your district with communications and how to use AI in that. You don't have to be the expert. Okay. You lean
Right.
on people that are, more familiar with these tools like Amanda and like Rebecca that's out there and many others. But just for you to start the conversation and be that conduit of, hey, we're gonna figure out how to use that. I think that really makes you more valuable to others and to your organization. Would you agree?
I agree. I think trying to be the expert, and I think if you're a perfectionist, I'm a surviving perfectionist because I realize that that's not feasible. But I do believe that you just trying will make you the expert simply because you just happen to be the one that knows the most about it at that time. And if you're not putting yourself in those spaces, and brand positioning is a huge part of it, you have to position yourself in a way that's going to sign you up for success. And I think a lot of us think that we need to have a moniker or need someone to call us that in order for that to happen, but that's not true. You just go in confidently and still show up. Show up even if you are trying to figure it out. Show up if you don't understand. Still show up if you're trying, because your efforts are going to be rewarded because
Mhm.
you just have the audacity to hop out there and just say, I'll give it a shot and
Mhm.
see what happens.
Yeah. So you currently work in a district, but you are doing a lot, you're doing some
Yeah.
speaking and reaching out, and many of the listeners are doing the same. I love to encourage folks. They don't, you're humble. I feel like maybe I'm a little I'm authentic, but it's like I'm good at some things because I've done them a
Right.
long time. So
Yeah.
I've always owned that. But some of my listeners, they just are like, oh, it's nothing special. It's like, yes, it is. Like the things you're doing are so awesome. So tell me just a little bit about that courage to kind of step out and start to share,
Yeah.
and to really embrace that because I think a lot of my listeners maybe have started, but they have a little bit of imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
But there's so much value. So tell me about your journey with that.
So having started a business when I was younger, I have a hustler mindset, and I've always said that. For me, it's like I'm going to go get it. I'm going to get after it. I'm going to get it done. And I believe if it's not me, then who? because I know that there's someone that's waiting to hear my voice. And that's what keeps me going on days where I'm like, I don't belong. Someone's going to find out that I'm lying, that I'm not telling the truth. Like they're going to find me out. But what I've noticed is someone is like, I needed to hear what you said today. I needed to meet you. I'm so glad that I talked to you because now I've been able to do X, Y, and Z. So where you see that it's no big deal because it's in you. And the reason why you're fighting it is because it may scare you, but stop fighting it. Embrace it. And when you embrace it, doors just open for you. And I think you can attest to this. Like doors open for you when you are living in the lane that you're supposed to be in.
Yeah.
And when you're being guided, I believe in God, but whatever force is guiding you, once you're in that mode, you're unstoppable. And
Hmm.
yeah, things are going to come. People are going to criticize. Everyone always has something to say.
Yeah.
However, I feel like you're doing the right thing. If no one had anything to say, then be concerned. But if they're
Right.
talking about it, you're in great company.
Yeah. So tell me about what happened, if you don't mind. After we had kind of talked and met the first time, you kind of made a declaration and you got like a phone call or reach out on a speaking opportunity. So tell me
Oh
about that.
gosh. So I did a session at Region 4 and we were talking about there's hope for your LinkedIn. And I hate when I present stuff and it's really for me and less about the other people, but it's okay. So we were talking about, there's hope for your LinkedIn. So H is for headline and your headshot. O is to optimize. P is to promote and position. And then E is for engagement. So I decided to add keynote speaker to my LinkedIn headline. And I was just a keynote speaker for a district event that they had with the district I support. And I was like, okay. So as soon as I added it, literally 2 hours later, someone messages me and goes, "Hey, we need a keynote speaker. Can you give us more information?" And I was floored. Like I had to call you and I was like, oh my God, we just talked about. I was losing my mind. Like it was
We
just,
were, yeah, it was a Saturday. You text me and then I had to like call you right away because I was like so excited.
oh my gosh, it happened so fast.
You owned it,
Goodness.
and then it's
Yeah.
people are out there looking, and you don't have to wait for permission for somebody to say that you're whatever. If you've got some
Yes.
experience. And then one of the things we talked about a little bit was pricing because you should get paid to speak. And so
Yes.
anyways, that was a super fun conversation, and I'm just so dang proud of you. But you guys, whatever's on your heart of wanting to share or how you want to grow,
Right.
Amanda and I both have a faith component in God, but whatever that might be, I
Right.
believe we're here to make an impact. And so many times we shy away from it. And I knew from the moment that I talked to Amanda, which by the way, the only reason I knew Amanda even existed, she spoke at an event that I was at, but I didn't get to go to her session. And
Right.
somebody just said, "Oh my gosh, this was amazing. You need to talk to her. You need to have her on the podcast." And so that's how we met. But we're made you're made to make an impact. And so it's not selfish to lean into that.
Right.
It's really what we were made to do. And I love this whole school PR community because we are so giving and so, learn from one another and share. Um, so I don't know. I just think that's so cool. It was meant for you and I to meet, and I'm excited for you to continue to impact others.
And I also want to add one more thing. I think sometimes we believe that because a certain place or organization may pay us a certain amount of money, that's all we're worth.
Hmm.
Like if I can't share that enough, and in leadership trainings, I've talked about how that's a part of your net worth, but it's not all your worth. And I think there are a lot of us that stay in that box thinking that that's all we're going to amount to, and that's never the case. Your net worth is limitless.
Hmm.
It's based off of what you feel like you want to bring to the table. Is it going to be hard work? Yeah. There are going to be some long days. However, I would rather be the one that puts the cap on my potential than someone else doing it.
Yeah.
So I hope that inspired someone to just understand like this is where you are, but that's not where you have to stay, and that's not where you're always going to be.
Yeah. That's awesome. This is like a self-development slash AI podcast, which I really love. We could talk forever and we'll probably have you back on the podcast sometime soon. But when it comes to social media, and you talked a little bit about your hope strategy with LinkedIn,
Yeah.
what would be just your best social media tip for listeners out there?
Be authentic and be able to tell a story. Don't just check off a box. I think because things are moving so fast, whether personal or professional, there's a lot of details that we miss. And either we think there has to be elongated, something that's long and lengthy, or it's short and it really doesn't unlock what we are trying to accomplish. So using AI, shameless plug, is going to give you, the ability to be in the middle, but be able to tell the story, the things that other people don't see, and I can't stress enough, be authentic, be your truest self, still publish it, get it out the drafts, share it, see what happens. And what you'll find is more people are going to like it often than not, but it's never going to happen and it won't resonate if you don't put it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what is the best way to stay connected to you if you want to share a couple ways that they can reach out?
Absolutely. So it's Amanda Matere on everything. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn as well. You can share my email, my
Yep.
personal email to go out and support whoever. I love to help out as much as I possibly can. And I do have a lot of great things coming. So hopefully when I get on here next time, we can share the new developments that are there. But I just have a heart for teaching and supporting and helping people be their best selves.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and let us know when those things come out. We'll share them in our newsletter. We got 14,000 people on my newsletter. Can you believe that?
Woo, woo,
That's a
woo.
lot. That's a lot of people. And you know how I did it? I consistently just showed up and started doing it. And by
That's
the way,
it.
I had no idea what I was doing again when I started this. But when you care and you find some, people that you care about, um, I've
It
just
works
met,
out for you.
yeah, I just met some of the greatest people in this industry. And you're now one of them. You're on my texting thing, so sometimes we text back and forth now, and that's just how it goes. I love it. Any other parting words as people kind of sign off with you today?
Just be your best self and understand that life is a journey. It's not always success isn't always a straight line. And be kind to yourself as you make transitions and changes. Grant yourself grace. You're better than you were yesterday.
Yeah. Amen. All right. Well, as we're wrapping up this school year, I know it's a hard time. People are stressed out, but I love that advice. I think it's perfect for this time of year and all year long. But thank you so much for tuning in and everybody for listening. Certainly reach out to Dr. Amanda Matere. She'll be happy to help you and support you if AI is kind of on your list of things you want to enhance. You got to meet her. You know what she's like, and I endorse her 100%. So, we will see you guys next time. Keep telling those stories. Bye for now. Thanks, Amanda.
Bye. Thank you.